are doing an exclusive Between the Two Stoves with my very, very good friend and giant among the Sacramento meat community, Mr. Eric V. Miller of V. Miller Meats, who you may have heard of. They're down there on Folsom Boulevard, right over by 1 Street and 48th and Folsom, I believe it is. I'm sure Eric will tell you all about it, but I've got him coming on here in just a minute. And I just kind of wanted to talk to him, and I want to talk to others in Sacramento in the restaurant industry, in the food preparation industry, in the food sourcing industry about how COVID is affecting them in their lives and how they're making food happen in these difficult times. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm doing with this whole thing. So you're going to see a lot of these Between the Two Stoves things coming up where I do talk to other people that are getting out into the community and helping out in any way that they can. Okay, today I'm talking to Eric V. Miller, again, as I said, who is, as we call a social worker. He is out there supplying meat every day to the Sacramento community, and I wanted to bring him on and have him tell you all about his shop, his very, very unique shop, and what he does with it. So let me go ahead and bring him on in here with the magic of Facebook Live. And I think we're going to see him any second. And there he is, Mr. Eric V. Miller. Whoop, whoop.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
All right, that's your intro music. That's my band. The band is done for the day. So how's it going, brother? How you holding up during all of this?
We're doing really well. Just very, very relentlessly busy.
Very relentlessly busy. So busier than it was before, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I think. Well, just with no restaurants being open, everybody's pretty forced to stay at home and cook, which is
that makes a lot of sense.
Advantageous for us, but also I think we picked up quite a bit because there's some questions about the food source and the supply chain and things. People get a little nervous, so
that's just what I wanted to ask you about that stuff, right? So this is you're the perfect guy to bring on here and talk about. I hope we get some people tuning in here. Let me click a little button and invite some people here now, and let's see. I think we might see some comments rolling in here pretty soon. So anyway, yeah. So just, I mean, on the side, before we get into it, I mean, you've got a wife, you've got kids, you have a new baby, and on top of everything, you've got a brand new dog as well. I keep seeing out on the social medias, right? So you've got this veritable menagerie. Are you keeping all the names straight and all of that?
Most times, yeah. I have 4 kids and a puppy. So sometimes I think they all just kind of answer to "Hey, you" right now.
Okay, yeah. Are you helping out with school and stuff like that too?
Well, they're home. The kids are homeschooled, so this isn't too big a change.
Okay, so you were of course like in the thick of that before, probably the math stuff and all of that.
Yeah, just doing their school thing, and just they spend a lot of time outside, which is great. So,
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you said like you guys are working harder these days, okay? So I wanted to kind of just talk about that. You guys are kind of doing business a little bit differently than you were back before this all started. So if I'm a customer or something like that, and I want to get meat from V. Miller, I mean, how's it working these days?
Still, we had to change gears a little bit. In the past, we've been very sold on the personal interaction with our butcher shop, meaning people would come in with one idea of what they wanted, and if that was available or not available, or that sometimes it's just not the right cut. You read a recipe and it says, quick cooking beef shanks, not really a thing.
I should get that on a T-shirt, man. That'd be awesome.
Right? So we've had to change gears a little bit in that we are only limiting the people we're limiting the number of people into the shop, and now we have to rely a lot on phone orders, which is something we really haven't. We almost kind of avoided them.
Yeah,
because it's kind of hard to shop when you've never been to a proper butcher shop or an old time butcher shop. It's kind of hard to shop when you don't know what we have.
Right. So that was another thing I wanted to kind of talk about, because you're a very unique shop. Okay. And I should say, full disclaimer here, folks, I do not work for V. Miller at this time, or I kind of sort of do. But I worked with you guys when you first opened up and everything. And it's a very unique shop. So if I'm from Mars, say, or if I'm from outside of Sacramento and I've never heard of your shop, like what's different about your place? I want you to lay it on down.
It's pretty simple, actually. We are a whole animal butcher, and we source all of our meats from local family farms. Everything comes in whole carcass, and we strive to use the entire animal in not just retail cuts, chops, roasts, steaks, sausages, things like that. But then we do all the deli meats, terrines, pâtés, pot pies, Sunday sauce, just like everything we can do to utilize every bit of usable product on that animal. That was kind of my job when I was working there in the beginning, was using up all the little scraps. And now you have the unicorn. You have the unicorn in there. Yeah,
that takes care of all that.
I've got a couple of them now.
Yeah.
You do. A couple of guys that are really amazing at what they do. And that's really their job. So keeping the cases stocked with different types of meaty stews and pasta sauce, chicken pot pies have been really. I think we've fed an unfathomable amount of people chicken pot pies. I think we're bringing it back.
But it makes sense though, right? Because who doesn't like a chicken pot pie, right?
Yeah. So
do they have chicken? Chicken. I was going to ask, do they have chicken pot pies pretty regularly, or is that a special thing?
Yeah, so it started like a lot of things that we do. It kind of started as, we didn't sell, we sold only half the amount of roast chickens on Tuesday that we normally sell. What do we do with all these leftover chickens? We're like, pot pie. And
utilization.
Yes.
Chef stuff, right?
Exactly. And then it's certainly picked up. We started off and we'd sell like 10 or 15 a week. And that would use up all the extra chicken. And then now we bring in chicken just for that. It's gotten to the point where we do like I think we're about between 60 and 75 pot pies a week.
Wow. Yeah. That's a heck of a lot. I just want to say that's a lot more than I ever saw when I was in the place of anything, like that, right? Wow.
Yeah, when it was ground beef and toilet paper week a couple of months ago. You can throw pot pies into that mix. I think every day it was just like, we need to make pot pies, guys. We're like, I just made 50 of them. They're like, yeah, doesn't matter. They're gone.
So there it is. Who knew, pot pie was going to be this saving grace? Back in the old days, the gold miners up here had pasties in their pocket, and now it's chicken pot pies probably. Chicken
pot pies in the freezer. Not so good in the pocket. But
not so good in the pocket. Awesome.
But we're still going along. We still do everything, laughingly. We still do everything the hard way. So it all comes in whole carcass. So it all has to be broken down. One of the kind of the, I think, unique things of the shop is it's a reintroduction to a connection to your food source, I think.
Now this is what I like. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is realizing that meat, was an animal. It was raised, wherever it was raised. Our stuff just happens to be locally, naturally raised, naturally fed. And there's a finite amount of it. There's one hanger steak on an animal. There's 2 outside skirts, 2 inside skirts. So that's, about give or take 8 pounds of skirt steak on an entire carcass. And that's when it's gone for the week. We go through, right now we're going through about just shy of 2 beef a week. Yeah, probably.
That's
2 beef a week.
That's way more than we were looking at when I was in there when we first started out too. Wow. So you've just been gradually ramping up. Wow. That's a lot. Yeah.
1,600 pounds worth of carcass beef. And then we've got another ranch we work with, and we have to bring in some ribeyes and things like that. But those supplies are getting really thin now too.
So that was something I wanted to ask you about. I mean, are your suppliers kind of talking to you about what their supply chain looks like down the line, and are costs going up? And what kind of buzz are you hearing, if you can talk about that sort of second level stuff?
Yeah, I don't mind. My costs are not going up. They went up in January. So, part of dealing with the whole animal is that we've got ways to, kind of soften the blow a little bit. But it's what I think the unique thing with our supply chain is it's a very short chain. If you think of it's my new hashtag, shorten the chain.
You mentioned this to me the other day, and it instantly hit me, man. I was like, yeah, man, that's it. Yeah.
Right. Like 2 good ideas every year. And so basically the animals come from the farm, they go to the processor, which is the nice way to say in slaughterhouse, and then they come to me.
They go to see the nice man before they come to see you.
They do, one bad day.
Yeah.
So that's 3 links. That's it. And so we're in constant communication with all of our ranches, all of our farmers. And really they're still raising animals. Everybody on the farm's healthy. That's awesome. The only kind of uncontrollable factor is the processor, the slaughterhouse. But we use very small facilities.
I was going to say your processing facility is much smaller. It's not that, massive production facility where, they're making every hamburger for McDonald's in the country. That one.
Because I think one of our ranches uses a guy that does, I think they do about 100, and I think a maximum is like 100 head of cattle a day.
Yeah.
And the other guy is like
pretty small, folks. Pretty small.
Really small, considering some of those big guys are doing hundreds of thousands a day, I think.
Yeah. It's a completely different ball of wax.
It's a total different ball of wax. So we, like I said, we're in I talk to those guys a 3 times a week. Everybody's a little worried, but right now it seems like we're doing okay. Our supply chain, we haven't missed a beat. We've still gotten everything we've wanted, and everything we've needed. The trick with us is just because we do it the hard way. These things take time. So it used to be I would make on average 220 pounds of sausage a week, and that would kind of hit the case, start trickling into the case Wednesday, all of it done on Thursday, and that would carry me through till probably Tuesday of next week.
Sure, I've seen this dance before.
Yeah. That dance got a lot bigger. It's a big bug ball.
I bet.
Yeah. So just trying to keep up with demand and keep people fed, really. So we've narrowed down the scope a little bit of all the cuts and everything is still the same, but sausage we've kind of taken like the 8 or 10 greatest hits, and we just kind of keep rolling with that, but we make more of that.
Okay.
Hey,
give the people what they want, right?
And that's what they want. We did a little Facebook or Instagram poll a couple weeks ago, like, what do you want? And just kind of narrowed it down with the greatest hits, and we kind of go with that. And that's been pretty cool. Just being that, I think we are, I don't know, like we're a local butcher. We're sourcing everything from local family farms. It's a clean, healthy way to eat, period. And now, like the big guys are, limiting how much ground beef you can buy. I still have ground beef. It's cool. I'll sell whatever you want. Mm-hmm. But freshness is key still. So, don't just hide a bunch of bad meat in your freezer when you can get the good stuff from us.
And you were mentioning, like, when you shortened the chain, I mean, establishing a relationship with your own butcher, right? I mean, that's kind of shortening the chain there, and knowing, like, hey, what day do Eric's cows come in, and when should I go in there to get the maximum bang out of the trip? Because I don't want to take a bunch of trips to the store. I want to kind of get a bunch of stuff at once, right? In these days of COVID. So knowing you and kind of knowing the rhythm of your little shop there, because it does have a rhythm. It has that dance you were talking about. Is a good thing.
Yeah. So we're pretty much an open book. Whatever anybody wants to know, we're not shy. We are closed on Mondays, and then we are open. We shortened our hours a little bit because of the, namely because of the supply chain. We were blowing through, 2 beef, 6-8 hogs, a couple of lamb, and we were blowing through it right at the beginning of this lockdown. We were blowing through all that stuff by Saturday. So
Wow. Okay.
Sunday afternoon and Tuesday were very slim pickings. There's still plenty to eat, but it was not like. So we found with shortening our hours a little bit, we open an hour later and we close 2 hours earlier than we did.
And still working harder, I should say.
Yeah. Everybody's the guys that work with me here at the shop it's an amazing thing every day. I'm just glad for each and every one of them, and they work hard and they're really, really freaking good at what they do.
Yeah, and I've seen that crew come together from the start, and I'm really glad to see that. Yeah, that's awesome.
And you were a big part of that. You were a big part of opening it, and we just kind of opened the doors and just started running. And I've just been very lucky. I've got my chefs, both of them come from well-established, well-heeled, if you will, from the Bay Area.
Pedigrees, right? Yeah, Bay Area pedigrees.
Yeah, so I got a lot of expats from San Francisco, and just other guys from that work at local restaurants and just kind of come in and help us out and have been with us for quite a while. So we're just always it's pretty cool when people just come in and just to know with confidence that they're going to get some really good information out of each and every one of us. It doesn't matter who it is.
And not just butcher information, but those cooking techniques they need to know, and what do I do with this? What's going to work for me? It's like having a custom meat shop. They fit you. It's like a meat tailor. They fit you for your meat suit. If that doesn't sound weird.
Yeah, it's hard to sell. Like it's hard to sell some of these off cuts, some of these weird cuts that are.
I wanted to talk to you about that. Yeah.
But if you don't know how to cook them, it's kind of tough. You're like, well, what do you think of beef shanks? They're right there.
I think very highly of beef shanks.
I love beef shanks.
I love beef shanks. Yeah.
They're so good.
They're so good. But you got to know what to do with them. And that's the thing. Yeah.
And just being able to adapt to when, especially times like these, when, as the week goes on, we start, the big fancy steaks are the first things that leave the building. And
the sexy ones.
The ribeyes and the porterhouses and the tomahawk steaks and all that stuff. Those are the first things to get out of,
Yeah.
And then it really goes into a lot of the bang for your buck steak. They're a little less expensive, but treated right.
Throw a couple of names out there for us, Eric.
One of my favorite things right now is the bavette. It's also known as a flap meat. Kind of eats and cooks like a combination hanger steak and skirt steak. So it marinates really well, easy to cook, makes great everything.
You mentioned skirt and you mentioned bavette, both flap meat. What's another flap meat that they'll see in the counter?
Flat irons.
I was thinking the flank steak. I was throwing the flank steak out there as another one of those flap meats, right?
Yeah. Flap meat. The flank steaks are great, although there's only 2 on an animal. So, most given weeks I have like between, 3 and 4 of them. So they go pretty quick. But one of the cool things about our shop is there's usually, for anything you'd want, if we don't have it,
there's a plan B.
Yeah, we've got a lot of really quality plan Bs in that, with grilling season upon us and stuff like that. A couple of years ago, the tri-tips, we just blow through tri-tips like nobody's business. And then there's another cut on the animal that's very close to it called the picanha or the culotte. It's a sirloin cap, which once, you can tell when somebody's like, oh, I'm just here for a tri-tip. You're like, I don't have that, but I got this. And they're like, And
this is Gwyneth Paltrow's favorite roast.
Yeah. And then And next week they come in, they're like, hey, we got tri-tips for you. They're like, no, picanha.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Establishing a relationship with your butcher.
Yeah. And we're all, like I think one of our mantras in the shop is just don't be a dick. We realize that some people, going into a butcher shop, we're not normal.
I remember my grandmother saying that all the time. Don't be a dick. Oh, grandma.
And just trying to be, as accommodating as we can and giving the best information as we can is kind of our thing. But yeah, just like grandma used to say, don't be a dick.
Sorry, brother. But no, I you know me, I've been a longtime fan, and I love that it's coming together for you, and I see that lean mean crew you got in there, and you guys are doing it, and it's you were really kind of the first one of your kind on the coast, and according to legend, and so it was a lot of fun being a part of it, and
as told by the
playing
ancients.
along. What's that?
As told by the ancients in the scriptures.
As told by the ancients, the oracles of old.
Indeed. So yeah, I mean, just getting back to all the stuff we've been talking about. We've got a really short food supply chain, so we're really comfortable with our ranches. They do great stuff. They're not like, we're ramping up supply, so let's just start flooding the market. It's not that at all. I can still get what I can get, and it's really, really good quality.
So great suppliers. You gotta give these guys a shout out, Erica. Who are your suppliers you're talking about?
Beef. We're working with Stemple Creek Ranch out of Tamales Bay. Stemple, Lauren Ponch and his family up there he was the first guy that didn't tell me to go stuff it when I told him I was opening a butcher shop.
Very nice. I bet you had a lot of that.
Yeah, like 6 years ago, before I was looking for ranches and stuff, and most of these guys are like, call me when you got a functioning shop on a checkbook. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I got both, but I need beef. And they're like, bah. And then
that needs to be on a t-shirt.
And then right after, so he just set me up, and I was like, I am doing grass-fed, grass-finished animals. That's it. I'm not cheating on that. This is kind of on the rock I built.
Oop, looks like it cut out a little bit. Yeah, we'll get him back in a second there. As he's out for a second, let me just say that Stemple Creek he's talking about is just, I was proud to represent that beef out there behind the counter. It was really good stuff. You cut out for a little bit. Sorry, brother. You back? Oh, I think we lost him.